This time I'll call the May 25th, 2023 meeting to order for the Dickson County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do not have anything to add to the agenda, so I would move that we approve the agenda as printed.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the May 18th meeting, also payroll of $483,662.60, abatements of $1,336.72, and then escaped tax $768.90.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have the motion and the second. Any discussion? I will ask just for the explanation because it doesn't come up very often. What is the escaped tax referencing?
It's an intangible that was turned in after our last abstract, so if it doesn't go on the tax roll, so now we have to send out a special statement for that.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? We have the motion, we have the second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commission comments. Ron?
I'd just like to make a comment for the folks that are writing letters to us in regard to the wind power, wind generators. I want to assure you that we do read them and we do share them with each commissioner, and we take them pretty serious, your comments, because you're being represented by us. And we want to thank you for the information you send us.
Okay. Craig?
Yeah, I got a call from a homeowner who doesn't live right at that address about some blight issues in Noble Township on 3100 and Trail Road. And I said there's probably not much we can do about blight, but the person that owns the property is infringing on their putting their on their property. So that might be, and I'll get with Doug, and I don't think there's anything the sheriff's department do. I mean, blight's not out the beholder. I drove by it and it looked to me like blight, but people live, they don't even live there, but that's another fight that'll have to be taken. I did after the last week, I did go out around Brown's home about the paving crew. Road and Bridge did an excellent job on it. Yesterday I drove down, I was in Chapman and went out on Old 40. Like I said, didn't drive on it, but just looked real good. And I guess Marcus and you drove up on 3400 Avenue and stuff. And so that. Then I did also get a couple of calls on, I'm going to call it the Loop and 1800 Avenue. And the Loop is 2500 Avenue to 2100 Avenue and 1800 Avenue. 1800 Avenue, if you were doing 25 mile an hour, that was about the top speed you could go. Yeah. From Union Road to Wolf Road, where the trucks weren't going over, wasn't that bad. But then the Loop, there was a chuck hole. I wouldn't have seen it about probably 4 or 5 inches deep. I'd have been in the car, probably needed alignment and stuff. We do have a KAC meeting next 30th, so I'll be gone to that day. That's all I have, Lynn.
Okay. Earlier this morning, during our work study session, we started early at 8:30. And on the budget, we had Sean was over here from North Central Juvenile Detention Center and gave us the update and also talked about some of their future plans and kind of gave us information on how it's being utilized by Dickinson County. And that's something where Ron serves on that board and attends the monthly meetings, but it involves numerous counties. And so we listened to their budget request. And then we also have a Dickson County Conservation District in attendance and told us about some of the work of the Dickson County Conservation steps that they take, that they have available, and the importance of rural agriculture to Dickinson County. And also coming up next Tuesday, they are having the dedication at the Harrington Post Office. They are renaming it in honor of Father Capon, and that's going to be at 1 p.m. And that's all I have. We do not have any petitions or proclamations. This is the time that we have public comments. If there's anyone that would want to make a public comment, this would be your opportunity, and either notify us online, or you can, if those here can step up to the podium, just introduce yourself, give us where you live, and then what your concern or question is, and we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, my name is Doyle Seaman. I live on 657 140 Abilene, which is 2.5 miles west of Abilene. I guess, and yeah, I think you've probably heard the issues on this before. It's the wind turbine, but I wanted to, I've heard some things and I've read some things, really, and I was concerned mostly that the commissioners had had their mind made up. Whether that's true or not, I understand kind of both sides. I mean, the company that's putting in these wind turbines are offering money, and I understand the rural people, that's a good chunk of change for them to lease their property. But my concern was that maybe I'll call it dangerous, but you know, the facts about the turbines, the health issues, and then I've read stuff where if one of them catches on fire, there's nothing that a lot of the rural fire districts can do but just let it burn down. And there's chemicals in that turbine head that are very detrimental to the ecology. I'm not a naturalist, so to speak, but you know, and then I hunt a lot, and I read where the turbines are costing a lot of wildlife their lives. I mean, like ducks and geese and stuff like that. It's an enormous number. And then two, south of Abilene, started the Flint Hills. I enjoy the beauty of that area. And I just don't, to me, that doesn't add to the beauty of the landscape down there. I know that's probably not a issue, but it, you know, I like to keep it that way. And then I had a question. I understand how to build. Say, looking to the future, say 20 years from now, they're done with them. And I suppose none of us will be, I don't know, I hope we're here, but you know, but what's going to happen then? Are you just going to let them stand, or what? I think that's what's happened in California. That's for example, to compare to, I understand that, but so looking to the future, what we leave for our kids and grandkids. And that's pretty much all I had. I'm like I said, I'm sure you've already heard issues on it, but my biggest concern was that from what I read, that the issue had already been settled. You already made your decision, but I guess that's probably not true. So, you got any questions for me? I mean,
Any comment from the commission, or?
Thanks for the input. I hear from everybody, Doyle.
yeah. So, okay, that's basically all I had. I just wanted to express my comments, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, Ron.
No, Janelle, would you want to comment about where we at on the progress of what was happening with this?
So the process is that the wind energy company is going to submit an application, a conditional use permit. And from what I understand, that will not be until possibly this fall. Then the process would be, a hearing would be set with our planning and zoning board. They could put conditions on the permit as to how this is structured. and then they would make a recommendation to the county commission. Once the county commission hears it, then they can either approve it, deny it, or send it back to the planning and zoning board, or put their own conditions on it. And the construction, if this passes, would not take place until possibly 26. So we have an agreement. We will have an agreement with the with the wind farm company that there would be a decommissioning, how they handle the turbines. So they are not left standing with no use or anything like that. So that is part of our plan too, to make sure that we address that and they're taken care of.
And then another thing I'll ask you, I think part of that on the end of this fall, are they trying to get with Evergy for them to, who's building the substation?
They're still working with Evergy on that. So yes.
So where would that be at? Do they just know?
It's going to be in the southern part of the county, down in the Hope general area. Yes. So I don't believe they pulled the permit for that. Tim's out this week, so we can find that out. But they're still working with Evergy on that piece of it.
Well, and then another thing I kind of thought of, I know Commissioner Chamberlain mentioned that it'd bring a lot of business maybe to Abilene. Well, when they were down there around Tampa, it looked to me like a lot of the workers were living in campers. And
Yeah, some of them were here in Dixon County that were working down there.
And they're going to live in campers probably because there's no hotels there.
yeah,
And it's going to be cost effective for them because they're bringing in a lot of different contractors for this project.
but do you have any idea what companies you would use out of, say, the Dixon County area? No.
Up to them to decide who they contract with.
Okay, thank you.
We can make recommendations and that's going to be it.
Okay, thank you.
I will comment. I haven't reached a decision on it because really we haven't heard everything. But one of the things that does happen since the turbine companies they're working towards this, they have been in touch with people to offer them contracts for use of the land, and they're kind of doing their little checklist of getting everything lined up. So sometimes it leads people to believe, well, everything's a done deal. And so, we have not received a formal request from them. And I've never had anyone in the company come and talk to me and say, this is what we'd like the county to do. So, we kind of hear things indirect. But once we have that information, and then once there's the public hearing, that will be an important time for people to come forward. And we have had people at previous meetings that have come to speak specifically to us about this. But I do appreciate the fact that it's good to hear from people that don't live in the immediate area. Because right now, mostly that's what we're hearing from people that live right in that area or across the road from it or the southern part of the county.
Well, my understanding is once, say that everything goes the way everybody, say it goes through. Well, what they're going to north then too, aren't they? I mean, they won't, wind turbines won't stay in the south Dixon County or south part of Dixon County. I mean, once you just say everything went through and you gave them the permit and all this good stuff, they can build down there, but they can also build up north of Abilene or.
Well, probably on anything, and I would assume on this, if they had a conditional permit, it would not be for the entire county. They would have to identify a specific area that it was for. So
That's one of my concerns too. I mean,
The other piece of it is they have to do their own analysis, and we've had meteorological towers measuring the winds in our county, one down by Navarre and one further to the south. And we've had them for 4 years, easily 6 years, that are measuring that, because it has to still be productive for them to put in a wind farm. So they've not approached us about putting up additional towers in the county as of yet. Can't say that they won't, but then we'll go through our same process with our planning and zoning director and reviewing those requests. And then it comes to the planning and zoning board and then to the commission.
Do you have a special committee that's studying this, and who are they?
Our planning and zoning board would manage that. And I don't have the list on the top of my head, but we do have representatives from across the county, and it includes James Hedstrom, Martin Schneider, Justin Volkman, Wally Wolf, and Donita Felbush. I think that's it right now.
No, they got a full board.
They have a full board. Oh, Cassie Wilson is on it as well. So Tim is our planning and zoning director, and so he'll be reviewing the process. And staff has met with the wind farm company, a couple different times to work with them and address our concerns and make sure that they're aware of what's going on with that as well. And we'll continue that as this progresses. So.
But you think that you'll have a overall meeting, or?
We will have a public hearing, yes.
Towards the end of the year, then, like.
It most likely, the public hearing won't be held till after the first of the year, because the end of the year with holidays and whatnot, it's going to be hard to do that. So plus it takes some time for our planning and zoning board to review the application and then take it to the commission as well. So we want to make sure that we are being responsible with the information and with our process.
And I will mention, I think it's understood, but for example, if another business would get in touch with the county and say, we want to put, this business on this acreage anywhere in the county, that would not mean we give them an automatic endorsement. But as they requested information about the specific area, we would have public record information that we give them to handle their inquiry, or if economic development people came in. And so that's kind of the process. So that doesn't mean that we're working for them or with them or helping them. We're just giving them basic information that's public record. But the other side of it, and I understand, they have their marketing people. So, they promote things in a positive way. And I think sometimes it, that's part of the process. So I think, Ron, you had a quick comment you wanted to make.
I'd like to entertain you guys, long comment. I'd like to entertain you with a thought like this, and let's not look at wind generation particularly, but I'm from the southern end of the county. And for years, we've had our hands in the tail here at Dickinson County and asking for money to fix our roads and for emergency services and all the other services that the county provides. But we haven't had a lot of input into that tail, put money back in. The pipeline has come through a few years ago and has allowed the county to receive some money from the south end. We are looking for finding ways to generate money to help our county, not always taking money out. And so the oil has helped us a little bit. Whatever revenues they could be, I don't know if I'm talking wind generation particularly, but we want to pull our weight too in the southern end. And so we obviously trying to find ways to generate capital for the county. So I want to look at it as a positive.
Okay, I had another quick question. I think it was brought up, I heard from a person down south. Say this company, this all goes through and they build their wind turbines, understand that they're kind of hard on roads. Who pays to repair them, or is that part of the, we would call it?
We would have an agreement with them and legal. Doug Thompson is the county counselor. We would have him review that, and our county engineer. We would have an agreement, and during the project, then it would be back on the construction company to maintain those roads and make sure that they are put back to the way that they were. And we would review everything before then and after to make sure that everything is back to our satisfaction.
That's all I had.
Okay, hey, thank you. Our next item is report of county officers, and Janelle, you're our county administrator.
As Craig mentioned, the Highway Department has been out paving and they started Wednesday on Old 40 east of Chapman to the county line. And we're expecting that to take about a week to be completed. That includes going back in and filling in the drives and things like that, smoothing those out. So the temporary repair that we had also to complete on the 800 Avenue Bridge should be, in fact, if it's not done today, I'd be surprised. And if you remember, that was an off-system program through KDOT. So 100% of the engineering is on us, and that bridge cost us a little over 800,000. So when our share was 177, I'm sorry, that's not the right bridge. Apologize on that. So this is the bridge down on 800 Avenue. I was thinking the one on 1700 Avenue. We have too many bridges in the county. Let me just say that. But it should be done soon, so that would be good. And then Chad McCullough, our county engineer, submitted the applications for the 500 Avenue Bridge, and that's a local bridge improvement project. So that's a 90-10 match. I don't have an estimate on the cost of that. And then also the 1160, 1100 Avenue Bridge. That would be another off-system bridge. So those are both KDOT programs that we're going to move forward with. County crews will start mowing after Memorial Day. And the other thing I wanted to mention, there will be a resolution on the agenda next week for the sales tax question. So we can start that process since the legislature has signed it and the governor has signed it as well. And we'll have an election just determining when that's going to take place. And just a reminder, we will be closed May 29th and observance of Memorial Day.
And just summary, the sales tax question specifically relates to, go ahead and fill it.
Sorry, it's a 1/4 sales tax that we're requesting to fund public safety projects. So, and we've identified 2 priorities right now, and that's the 800 radio system and then setting money aside to replace our hazardous response trucks or our rescue trucks in the county. We have 2.
So safety issues.
Issues, correct.
Okay. Doug.
Thank you. I don't have anything new as I've reported to you in the past 6-7 weeks. We're moving forward towards the tax sale. You've seen the publications in the paper. And so on the 27th of June, that'll be the tax sale, and that'll end that project for this year. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Notices and communications, and Ron had mentioned this earlier. We did receive a couple of letters in regard to the turbines, and where people had concerns about what they would do to the landscape, the permanence of them, and both of those letters were people in the area that were not in support of that. And so that's pretty much all we had. Was there anything else that anyone had, emails or other comments?
Did you get an invitation to go toward graduation?
Yes.
I mentioned that because I'll probably be attending that.
Okay, but that is not until June
14th.
14th. Okay, so we'll mention that again, but the drug court graduation ceremony will be coming up. We do not have any resolutions or unfinished business or other business. Doyle, thank you for being here to speak, and he's got a great shirt on. If you couldn't see it, it says K-State Big 12 Champions 2022. And hopefully if we cross paths a year from now, you'll have one that says 2023 Big 12 Champions. Okay. Now you're into predictions, so that's. But anyway. It's good. They've had things going well at K-State, so we hope that continues. Is there a motion to adjourn?
You might make when our meeting will be starting next week.
Yes, the meeting will start at 8:30 next week. We'll be continuing on with the budget meetings.
Yes.
And we've got them spread out every half hour, I believe.
I'm going to adjourn.
Okay. We have the motion. I'll second it to adjourn. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.